Upgrades.
Hi, my name is Wemaster, and I'm the director for the film.
So we've seen like the Trinity in many different adaptations and everything. So, as a director, what type of approach you want to do to bring something different we haven't seen before?
There wasn't so the way it works is like the producer leads a lot of the art style for it. My job is to take the script and translate it into visuals, and then try to create as much suspense, fear, happiness, all of that into it, by the sequence of images that I create. The inspiration for all that was definitely being to play in worlds that we never get to as animators within the superhero universe, especially with these characters. So being able to say, hey, let's do a good, bad, and the ugly. Hey, let's do Conan. Hey, let's do a 50s noir. That was like really exciting to do because you never get to do that. It's always modern superhero, and that's it. So you have the cowboy movies, reruns that I would watch, and the Conan kind of esque movies that we would watch, including Conan the Barbarian. And then my mom, who was big into black and white kind of noir and all those movies, I'd be watching those with her. So those all kind of came together into this thing. So probably will never get a chance to do that again. So
I was going to ask, I'm a big Conan fan in that the movies and the books and all that stuff. So what were the elements of Conan specifically, without spoilers, that you were really excited to explore? Like what aspects of his character or that kind of world?
I think the brutality was one of the big things that kind of pushed it into R was really unnecessary. And also, I think a lot of the battle scenes were really cool to do because it was just like, you don't often get a chance to kind of show that on a screen like this. Oh, thank you. I think also was, I think when I read in the script, one of the main villains doing something that you'd never see in a fantasy world was a really great flip, to take it where it was starting to give you clues about what was going on at the same time. Just playing with magical, mechanical, all these pieces in that, and mix it into one story that's cohesive like that was probably the most exciting part about that one specifically.
There's a scene in the Conan sequence where Batman leaves a guy to get devoured by a monster. The guy survives, but was there discussion, would Batman really do that? Or
oh yeah. I mean, it was we're playing with the audience. Yeah, letting them rethink. Who is this character? What is it? We don't want to leave the audience where like, oh, of course, like we want the audience to be pushed back and forth to where they're going emotionally and reacting to it. So there wasn't much of a discussion because we kind of like read it through script and like, yeah, that makes perfect sense in the situation that we're in, what we're trying to do.
Going back to the beginning, what was your approach going into this project compared to the previous projects and the most recent ones?
I think it's the same thing. It was trying to maintain a tonal thing we're trying to do with them all, but also being in these different worlds where these characters don't know themselves. So what would they do different in this situation, but also staying true to who that character is in the long run? In the overall story, you have to be very careful through it because it's really easy to, when they don't know who they are, you have to kind of somehow imply, but they'd still make that connection.
You're still friends, or you still would be.
Yeah, exactly. Or it'd be like, even though this is a brutal world, this decision would be more advantageous to them, but because of who they are, they say no.
Letting that thing go. Was there anything in the film after you saw it that you were like, I kind of wish we had explored a little bit more?
Every film you will ever do will be that. So there's many things I wish we could do that, but you also have to walk away, just do the best you can, and accept what you did because you only have so much time, so much money, and so much sleep you can do without.
And that's interesting because piggybacking on that, you have a nice long history, you have all of these characters, you only have so much time. How do you decide who gets the majority of the focus but yet still stay true to the whole
Right. I think we were very careful about the order of it, being able to do each one. But we're also riding a little bit on the audience knowing something about these characters. So it's a balance you have to have between knowing the character and knowing the audience. Being able to, you want to be careful to stay true to the character, explain why they would do it, but also assume a little bit. So you don't want to underestimate the audience at the same time. But also, what if someone who's never seen this comes and sees this? So it's a balance you have to strike along the way and make decisions as you go.
So do you lean more toward trying to capture that new audience, or give something to the hardcore fans, or the...
That is the one thing we try not to think about. Like, you first and foremost tell the best story you can. If there's some stuff that naturally and organically shows up to do those things, great. There's times we'll throw Easter eggs in there, or we'll throw like an allusion to a movie or a scene or something like that. We'll do that because it adds to the story and makes perfect sense. But there's times when we're like, we're not going to force that. We're not going to push it just because like someone likes this or that person likes that. You're betraying the film if you start trying to please one subset of people.
That's really good to hear, actually. Very refreshing.
Falling out the top of the I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind.